Higher.
Ew.
Nearer.
Longer. Faster.
Cyflymach.
Gwrando.
Listen.
Engage. Cysylltu.
Cynrychioli.
Represent.
First and foremost, welcome to the latest in the club development series of webinars. As you're already aware, and you can see there, tonight's session is about establishing your club values. As we've already said, it is 100% live, so feel free to jump in with any questions, get involved, share ideas, enjoy a Welsh cake and a cup of coffee, and hopefully we can all take away something from the session. Just out of interest, just by a quick show of hands, how many of you are aware of your club values at the moment? Yeah, we've got a couple of hands there. And then out of those, were they reviewed in the last 12 to 18 months, if you know?
Can't find my hand, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, I haven't got myself on the screen anymore with anything. I
No,
can't.
if you go with a physical show of hands, I can still see you on the screen.
No. Oh, okay.
We can, I can keep an eye on you there. So it's great to see that you've already all started to think about your club values and you're already aware of it. And hopefully tonight's session will just kind of give you a bit more insight into it, and you can take something away that will either help develop those values further or bring them more in line with what your club is about now and how we push that forward. So as a little bit of an icebreaker, and just to get your creative minds thinking of the values, I've put up sort of 5 companies or organizations' values there, just for you to have a look at. And what I want you to try and decipher from those is which companies or organizations they might belong to. You might have seen some of them before. They might be completely left field. The only clue I'm going to give you to start with is they're all businesses or sports organizations. And you would have heard of them all. They are all global brands. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to read through those. And if you want to pop your answers in the chat.
We cheat and Google it.
You can, but there's no prizes.
I got no idea.
So this is the
Guessing.
the values is that they are all unique to each company or organization, and you would hope that people within the organization understand and use these values on a daily basis, but you would hope that they'd be visible for the public or the people who use these brands to be aware of as well.
Is each bullet point a different brand?
It is indeed.
Okay.
So I'll just give you another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll move on.
Got some good suggestions coming in.
Mm.
We've got Nike, Welsh Rugby, British Army, Apple.
Very interesting.
Oh, Nike's appeared twice.
Yeah, last 10 seconds then.
Microsoft. Welsh Athletics. Amazon.
Okay. Right, we shall
Reveal.
reveal. So the first one, as you can see, quite interesting that they've actually gone with an acronym.
Oh, yeah.
See there,
Clever.
that one is for Manchester United, and their values meet the acronym United. Obviously, it's an interesting way of doing it. It's not something that I would promote myself unless I'd decided on the values and then there was a clear acronym that stood out. Is why that might be the way to do it. Feel free to fire in any answers if you know. Okay, so it can be quite difficult.
I think you're right there, Tom, because obviously you would say the values you want to do, and if, in a way you're kind of preempting what the thing is. You're loading the dice against yourself for yourself, aren't you? I think.
Exactly, that's it. Bang on there, Kev. Is that you kind of put yourself in a situation where you have to find a value to meet the acronym, rather than coming up with your values first, and then if a clear acronym presents itself, then using it. So that's one. So number two there, Facebook. Okay, so the clue in their values is the social value, and that social interaction. You know, that's their big business, if you like. Yes, we did have someone say Welsh Athletics. Hopefully that was that you've seen the values before, you've seen them displayed, and not just a guess because of the session. Yeah, so obviously Hannah would have recognized these straight away, I'm sure. And they are values that we try and include in a lot of our decision-making process, and we try and display these values, you know, very often in everything that we do, from our daily work to any big programs that we develop. You know, these values sit at the core of everything we try and achieve. So hopefully tonight you'll see some ambition, excellence, fun, respect, togetherness, and trust. Coca-Cola then is quite a complex one. It's not something that you would expect to see, given their brand and what they produce. You know, it's quite interesting to see about the values that drive them as a business. And then the last one, the LA Lakers, obviously is very simple, but they are values that you can sort of apply to all elements of the business, not just on the court, but everything they do in terms of working with the community, the business side of things, the marketing, everything can kind of be linked into those values as well. Okay, so we'll move on from that then. And what are values? Now that we've kind of had a little warm up there, the dictionary obviously defines the values as the principles that help you decide what is right and wrong and how to act in various situations. Okay, and as always, as we've done throughout these series of webinars, we're always looking to link everything and every definition to a sporting context. And, you know, our good friends at Club Solutions defined it as values are the core beliefs that shape the way people behave and make decisions. They provide a framework for how members treat one another and how they treat others as potential members of their club. Okay, so it creates a framework, as I've said, of the behavior that you want to see within your club. And it shows the values that you want to portray to people, and not only for your members that are currently within the club, but potential members as well. And we'll move on to how you can use your values to attract more people as we go through the session. Okay, so as always, the old adage goes, the best place to start is at the beginning. So when you're establishing your values, it's always important to think back to why did we set up the club, or why was the club established? And really, are the values and the reasons that you set up the club to start with, are they still valid now, and are they still relevant? If they are, then they should be at the heart of everything you're trying to do. Okay. If we look at some of the questions here, these are good places to start when you are gathering your values and starting to push your values throughout the club. You know, what factors determine what the club does? Okay, so what drives your decision making at the club? You know, we'll look later on at how you can use your values to do that. But as we've already said, your values should be at the heart of everything you do. And if something doesn't sit within your values, then you need to kind of ask, well, why are we doing this? What is the purpose of it?
Interesting, Tom, because we just recently we've had a change of committee members, and we sent a survey out to all the club members, and those questions that was in the list of the questions we were sending out. Why, what you want to achieve, etc. And that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's something that we'll touch upon a little bit later on, but getting that input from your club members is vital, so that not only are you pushing your values as a club onto people, but you also want to get that engagement from them, as in why they're part of the club and why they want to be a part of the club. You know, so what do you want to promote? You know, as your values, what do you want to be known for? Like, how do you want to be seen within the club and within the wider community? We've seen over the years experiences of clubs whose values probably aren't as strong or aren't as clear, and you can see a direct correlation really between the clubs that struggle and the clubs that don't have a clear purpose, if you like. You know, who is our target audience? You know, what kind of members do you want? Who are you looking to attract? Who do you want your club to appeal to? You know, and your values need to be a part of that as well. So when you're attracting new members, if they don't fit in with your value set, or they don't add to the values that you already share, are they likely to be disruptive? And this, you know, when we look at setting up committees and people who become quite influential within your clubs, it can be quite difficult to manage those relationships if people don't share a similar value set. So, you know, establishing your values and making sure that not only the people that within the club live those values, but the people coming in share those values is vitally important. And then the final one there, which is quite important, that we just touched upon then, Kevin, was, you know, why are the members with us? You know, what are the values that the members see that keep them involved in the club? You know, why is it that they feel an affinity with the club, and what is it that really drives their participation, if you like? So just on that now, Hannah's going to break us out into a little breakout room. I'm just going to use sort of 5 minutes to discuss how your clubs have gone through the process of establishing your values. So Kev, as you mentioned there, just, you know, the question is, you've sent out those kind of discussions, and how these questions might frame what you do after this session.
Okay, I'll send you into the breakout rooms now. It won't record you in the breakout room, so don't worry about what you say in there. But you might just get a notification that asks you to join the room, so just make sure you click join. Okay.
Okay. Well, hopefully that little breakout was worthwhile, just to sort of share some ideas and share some practices, as much as hope that you take a lot from these sessions that we deliver. You know, one of the main focuses is that you can share some ideas and network with other clubs to gain a lot of information from people who've been there and done it themselves in very similar sort of circumstances to yourself as well. So hopefully you've all got something from that. Okay, so we're going to move on now to look at the benefit of values. Okay, so there are a number of benefits to developing your own club values. And one of the main ones that we've already highlighted a couple of times is that it provides a focus. And so, you know, it really allows you to ask the question, you know, what really matters to your club and your membership. Okay, so, you know, you can highlight all of the things that are important to you as a club, and in turn it will aid in your decision-making process. Like, does it meet your values, or does it impact on your values? You know, if you're a social running group and, you know, you are purely there to provide the social running opportunity, you know, are things developing that, you know, is kind of going more down a competition and a performance element? And, you know, do you need to look at your club, or do you need to look at your values, or do you need to look at your membership and kind of decide, well, which route is for us and what do we want to do? You know, are we purely a social running group? Are we looking to offer both? And if we do, how do we do that without impacting our values? So there's a number of things there to kind of consider, and using your values as your compass really, and your guide when you're making these decisions. You know, you can use it to inspire your members. Okay, so inspire them to live the values. Okay, when you inspire them to do that, it creates a very strong bond with the club. And I'll talk a little bit later on about some of my own personal experiences in that sense. But, you know, the values that you develop through sport and through your clubs, you know, they carry with you for life. And these are, you know, and it's those affinities that you develop through a good, strong set of values that will really, really help. As we've already touched upon, you can use your values to promote the club and attract new members. I think there's been a lot of excellent work from a lot of clubs throughout lockdown, engaging with your local communities, which has been fantastic to see, but it's also driven a lot of new people to the clubs as well. So we've seen an increase in certain memberships and in certain clubs because of that, you know, that community spirit and the values that you display in that sense, you know, working together with the community, you know, being a welcoming environment, being a supporting environment, can really drive and promote your club as well. And, you know, one positive experience from someone in a club, you know, and that can really drive your promotion as well. And there's no better than word of mouth. You know, we spoke about it in the last webinar when we were talking about marketing. You know, how many times have you been to a restaurant because your friend has suggested it? You know, how many people have been to your club because somebody has recommended it and has been really positive about their experience? And because of that, you know, it's your values that drive that. It can also lead to a focus strategy for the club's future. You know, we've touched upon it a few times. Using your values as your compass, you know, as your moral compass really, and your guide to what you want your club to be. You know, there's no right or wrong way of kind of setting up a club and having a club. You know, it doesn't mean that every club has got to have aspirations of creating Olympic athletes, or just being a social club, or just being, you know, a club for your small community. You know, it can be whatever you want it to be. And we'll look at that in a bit more detail later on. But your values can really focus on your strategy. And, you know, I've seen lots of examples of clubs where they've created their development plan, and the development plan has got their values bullet pointed. So every time they've looked to change something or add something, the bullet points follow the values. So how does this change impact on each value? You know, does it meet the standards that we want? Does it, you know, hit the requirements that we need for our values? Is it something that we should be looking to push because it fits in with our values? If it doesn't, then we need to look at, do we really need to do this? Okay, and there will be examples where it might hit one or two of your values, or it might hit all of your values, but it's important to keep those at the core of your decision-making process. Okay, so where to start really. A little task that you can do either on your own or with your committee or with your membership, you know, is to list the values you want for your club or that you already have, and sort of once you've listed those, create a little short sentence to show how you'll display or represent those values. Okay, so you can see the example here that we're using is welcoming. Okay, so if I want my club to be welcoming and I want that warmth and that welcoming to be part of the values that we display, so we want to provide every person with a welcome to each session or event as if it's the first time we've seen them. Okay, so every time somebody steps through the door or joins a session, they feel as if they wanted there. They feel as if they're getting that warm welcome. And it doesn't matter, like we said, if it's the first time that they've been, okay, because we have to make a big fuss over the people who are turning up for the first time and, being really welcoming. But what about the person who's been coming for sort of 5 or 6 years who, every once in a while needs that big welcome just to kind of give them that little bit of a boost. And a welcoming smile and a little chat can do wonders for people. We've seen it's the social element of sport as well. It's that release. It's that, we push on about the benefits of the physical and mental health. That welcoming can provide that as well. So once you've listed your values, come up with a little short sentence for each of those values and kind of, this is what we're going to do to make sure this value is at the core of what we do, and this is how we're going to show it. Once you've kind of come up with those values and those little statements, that can kind of guide you to a mission statement. Okay, and all the mission statement is just encapsulating all of those values just into one sort of short statement, so a couple of sentences or a sentence, to really kind of hit home and drive down and really kind of pin down what you're going to do and how you're going to run your club. So the we've used there as an example are we want to welcoming, inclusive, and caring, and professional. Okay, so we want to be all of those things. To do that, okay, we're going to provide anyone and everyone with the best possible experience of our sport and strive to enable them to maximize their true potential. Okay, so true potential might be Olympic gold medal. My true potential might be running 5K in 30 minutes. But as a club, we're going to support everyone in that mission. Okay, gold medal might be completely different to my gold medal. We're still going to both get a gold medal. So how, as a club, we can do that. Okay, so a mission statement can always seem quite broad, but you can always pin your values back into it. Okay, so when we say welcome in there, so anyone and everyone. Okay, so it's welcoming and inclusive. They're all going to come. Okay, we're going to care, so we want best possible experience for people from within our sport. Okay, and we're going to strive and push as best as we can for them to maximize their true potential, because we care about that. We care about people. We care about making them as good as they potentially can be and they want to be. Okay, and that is our professional standard. Okay, so that's something for you to do in your own time and with your clubs or the next committee meeting or however you see fit, as a little task to kind of get you moving on the right path, if you like. Okay, so what are the challenges? What if we don't have values within our club? Okay, so a lot of the challenges we've seen, we've already discussed. Activities not being aligned. Okay, so it'd be extremely difficult to align activities across the various groups within your clubs. Okay, if you think particularly for track and field clubs, if you've got multiple age groups, you have multiple events, you've got multiple disciplines, all within one club, you might have the same vest on, but you're not sharing the same values. It can be very difficult to kind of align people in terms of their activities if there's no shared purpose. Okay, and that no common purpose, you might have the same badge on your shirt, but at the end of the day, you're completely separated from each other within the group. Okay, it's easy within a team sport to have that shared purpose because, if you think about football or rugby, the aim is to win the game. Athletics is unique in the sense that it's a team sport with individual events. Okay, so it's very much about your performance, but how that impacts on the rest of the team is massive as well. So having that those values that you share means that your activities can be aligned and you can share in your purpose as a team. Okay, it's not just about me and about my efforts and how I've done, it's about everyone else and the people you work with. Okay, you don't get groups working in silos. Okay, so you know, you could have an under 13s over there and an under 15s over there doing their own thing, and you know, we've seen countless times they might be from Club X and they all wear Club X vests or jumpers or t-shirts, but they could easily be different clubs and different groups because there's no shared purpose. Okay, you know, one coach might show a very caring and, you know, sort of laissez-faire, anyone can come and join in and give it a go attitude, whereas the other coach will be very much, well, this is what we're here to do, we're here to work, we're here to work hard, we're here to be the best, you know, we're pushing to be the next Olympic athletes, like we want to be the greatest. And it's two clashing environments within one club. Okay, so it can be difficult then to engage with your members, because they know if I'm moving from a very laid back coach who's all about inclusivity and getting people involved, but next year I'm moving up to a coach who's very much about performance and winning, it can turn people away. And it can be also very difficult to recruit new members in that manner as well. Okay, so it's really important that your values really kind of shape and guide what you do. And if you don't have it, and you don't have values, things can come crumbling down very, very quickly. Okay, so where do we start? And by now, some of you might be thinking, you know, do we need to revisit what we've already done and our values? Or do we need to ensure that the values we've got are clear and kind of communicated across the club effectively? And if you are, that's brilliant, because, you know, we want you to go away from here thinking about how can we improve what we're already doing, or do we need to start doing something differently, or do we need to revisit something and kind of go over it again, which, you know, is brilliant, because that's what these sessions are about, is how can we help you for you to get the best environments possible for your clubs. And that's what we're here to do. And of course, you know, myself, Hannah, and the other club development managers are here to help with that. So please use us as much as you want, and we'll support you as best we can through your journey in creating the environments that you want to promote. Okay, so some of the things you might want to consider is having a value subcommittee. Okay, we spoke about subcommittees in some of our earlier webinars, you know, and having a group of people that are focused on your club values, you know, it kind of shows how important those values are to you. But with it being a subcommittee, you can have a good cross-section of people across the club. So you can have certain people from different groups, you know, you can have people from who might already be involved in the committee or in the running of the club. Okay, and then you can have athletes as well that mix in, you can have volunteers that mix in, you can have coaches that mix in, because everyone is a part of that club. So everyone needs to have their say and their input within the development of your values. So a subcommittee is an excellent place to start with that. Members consultation, okay, so we've already spoken about surveys and informal chats, and just getting people's feedback and asking why they've joined or why they're still a part of the club, and using that information to develop the values and the mission statement that you feel encapsulates all of that information you've had, and you know, it reflects what your members and your club members are telling you, and what they feel is best for the club and what they feel the club is all about, because at the end of the day it is their club. And then you share the outcome with the members of what you found. You know, these are the common themes that we're getting back. Is this something that you agree with? Does this look like a club that you want to be a part of? Does this mission statement meet the standards that you set for the club? And are these values, you know, what we're likely to see? And are we going to live them? Because that's the important thing, is living your values, not just having them painted up on the wall and, you know, looking pretty. It is about making sure that they're easy to follow and that you can do it, you know, and they're not asking you to go too far above and beyond, but just, you know, can you live those values? Okay, so what we've got now is a little motivational strategy. Okay, so this is quite a simple tool to use, which comes from the world of psychology. Okay, so Gabriel Oettingen is a German psychologist who looks at motivation and goal setting, and has essentially come up with the acronym WHOOP to basically simplify your goal setting process. And it's something that we've looked at and can quite easily sit in with the values element. Okay, so as you can see there, the breakdown of WHOOP. So you've got your wish. Okay, so what do you wish your club to be? You know, how do you want them? How do you want your club to be perceived? Okay, the outcome. So if that wish is achieved, what is the outcome of that? So we'll look at some examples in a second. Obstacle. Okay, so what is stopping you at the moment from doing that? Okay, how can you get better? What is it that is in your way at the moment, and why aren't you delivering what you want to deliver? And then a plan. So how do we overcome those obstacles in simple terms? Okay, so if we look at the example we used earlier in terms of welcoming. Okay, so a wish is that the club is a welcoming environment. The outcome to that is that it creates an environment that's friendly, makes people want to come back. They'll spread the word of, you know, a positive and happy environment that they always receive at the club. And then in turn, it'll attract new members. Okay, you know, so the obstacle to that might be we don't have a welcome pack for new members. There's no one who takes responsibility for welcoming people on training evenings, and there's no area for a social conversation before or after sessions. Okay, so people just turn up, do the session, go home. It's not really kind of the welcome that they would hope for or expected. Okay, so the plan then, you know, person X might compile a welcome pack so that new members get a welcome pack when they first join. Okay, and within that welcome pack, you could have key contacts, training times, days, upcoming events, your annual events that you might have in terms of whether it's competitions or social events, you know, kit requirements or options to buy kits. Okay, so that could be one person's job. You know, person Y could be the person who welcomes everyone at the session. Okay, whether it's just at the door, whether they're just signing people in, whether they're taking subs if you take subs, whatever it might be, but they're the one who's always on the door, saying hello to people, getting to know people by name, by face, having a conversation as they come in. Okay, and making sure that whether you're new or you're an old member, okay, you still get that real positive interaction in each session. Okay, that's something that we need to make sure that we're pushing. And then person Z to look into the potential for maybe a refreshment stand at, you know, where we meet for training, or, you know, if somebody brings a couple of flasks and we have a chat and a coffee after training, or whatever it might be, just little ideas which kind of make sure that we're a really welcoming environment. Okay, and you can use this acronym for pretty much any sort of value that you want, any kind of club development task. WHOOP is a very simple but very effective tool. Okay, and you can kind of apply that to lots and lots of different things. And it's something that, you know, Hannah and myself have used a couple of times before as well, and it is very effective because it is that simple, that you've just got to, what do you want to be? What does that look like in the end? What's the problem? Why aren't we doing it? And then you just got to plan your action and do it and get on with it. And it's that simple. Okay. So then we'll move on then quickly to culture. Okay, so as you can see there, the definition, the ideas, customs, and social behavior of particular people or society. Okay, so in simple terms, when we look at it within sport, culture is just simply living your values. Okay, and that's what we want. And the culture that we're hoping to create with our clubs mirror the values that we're looking to push and drive our club forward. Okay. And then living your values, you know, what does that look like? How do we do that? You know, maintaining your subcommittee for your values, they'll stay on top of things. You know, it's important that they review regularly. You know, are we making sure that members and coaches and volunteers, are they living these values? Are they pushing the values? Are they displaying the kind of values that we want to see? You know, that those questions can kind of come with a lot of challenges as well. You know, if people aren't living up to those values and aren't living up to those expectations, how can we support them in displaying those values? Or, you know, if they don't agree with them, is the club the right place for them? Okay, so they'll stay on top of that and maintain regular reviews. Okay, you can see there you've got regular reviews and monitoring of your activities as well to make sure that you're pushing the values that you want to see. Have formal and informal reviews. Okay, but your annual reviews in terms of a survey, you know, having an opportunity for club members to either have an informal discussion or give them the opportunity to voice their opinion on the values, or if they feel that somebody isn't displaying the values that they thought the club was all about, give them the opportunity to do that, either anonymously or in person. Have someone there responsible for that. You know, it's something that if people notice standards are starting to slip, that, you know, it's all well and good saying, oh, you know, we're all responsible for it, and you can pull people up on it, but it's very difficult if you're in your first year of membership and somebody's in their 15th year of membership to be able to pull someone up on the values. So it's important that you've got someone there who people can go to either anonymously or in private and just say, look, you know, noticed this recently, you know, can we do something about it? And then, you know, do you need to provide training or education for your members or your volunteers or individuals around your values? You know, is everyone aware of your values? How do you share your values? You know, where do you put your values? Are they visible for everyone to see when they come into training or go on your website or look at your social media? You know, what is it that people are looking for, you know, and do they know where to go? And how can you support them in that development really of their values? Okay, as usual, when we talk about where we can get more help, if you go to the Welsh Athletics Clubs portal by the ClubServe network, okay, if you've got any issues with logging in data details, you know, you can come to myself or your local club development manager. And in there's lots and lots of resources, okay? So if you go to the online training courses, within there, the club governance element, there are a number of videos and helpful guides which will give you lots of information to, you know, help with the values and so on of your club. Okay, so then we've got obviously the club development managers, as you're probably aware. We've got Barry Edwards and Eva Brewer, who do Northwest and Northeast Wales respectively. Andrew Jenkins, who does Southwest, Hannah, who does the South, and myself, I do the Southeast. Okay, so all the contact details are there. You know, please use us. Okay, we are there to support you. Okay, we're there to support the sport. You know, our role as club development managers is to help all of you. Okay, whether you're track and field, whether you're social running, whether you're running groups, whatever you need in terms of support, we're there as a port of call for you. Okay, so please do use us. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Okay, and there's no such thing as a wasted email or a wasted phone call. Okay, we've all had plenty of experience in the field of assisting clubs. So regardless of how stupid you think a question might be, we've definitely heard it 5 times before, so don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, so a couple of things coming up. There's the next lot of webinars there on screen. Also, don't forget that we've got the clubs conference on the 13th of March. Okay, so that is next Saturday, so a week Saturday. If you want to sign up for that, you can do that via the Welsh Athletics website, clicking on the Eventbrite link and registering for that event. Please do. We've got some fantastic guest speakers in. Okay, speaking on all sorts of club developments. Business, if you like. We've got an excellent guest speaker in Lloyd Ashley, who's going to deliver an element on mental health and raising awareness around mental health and how we can support each other. And obviously other Welsh Athletics staff will be delivering on that as well. So it's definitely worth checking out and getting involved on the day if you can. And then I did promise to talk about values. So the little screenshots we got there, the gentleman on the left is a young man named Will Foden. I say young man, he's closer to my age now, so not that young anymore. And the guy on the right, Matt Gilbert. So both of these guys I was in university with and had the pleasure to train with and play rugby. And Will is now working in Singapore for UFit Singapore and is one of the head personal trainers there. And Matt, if anyone follows rugby, played for Bath and the Scarlets for a while, has now got his own sort of pizza and coffee business. And as you can see, they've both got Joker cards. Okay, so if you can see my camera, there's mine. Obviously, it's a little bit worse for wear. We've had them for quite a while now. And all the Joker card sort of represents is the values and the ethos that our team, when we were in university, kind of adopted, sorry. And it was very simple, you know, we lived by a set of values that kind of created a bond between 30 guys from all over the world. So Will is from Essex and has got the thickest London accent you've ever heard in your life. So it's quite difficult to understand him. Matt comes from quite a difficult background, was born deaf and lip reads, and you know it could be quite challenging on the rugby field and working with Cumbie. You know, we had South African boys, we had Zimbabwean boys, we had Canadians, we had guys from all over the world. And what brought us together was our bond and the values that we shared within our training group. Okay, so we had 5 simple values. First one was graft. Okay, so we all decided that whatever happened, we were going to work as a group to work as hard as we possibly could. And being as we were in university, it wasn't just on the training field or in the gym. It was about making sure that we got our assignments done, we got all of our work done, so that nobody could say a bad word about the rugby guys in university. That was, you know, we were going to work as hard as we could to make sure that the reputation was really positive. We were going to do everything together, so it was all about teamwork. You know, whether that was going out together, whether it was training together, whether it was studying together. You know, I can tell you many stories about the times that we're in each other's houses going over massage techniques for a sports massage module, and we've got 20 guys, 10 on 10, just taking it in turns, talking through techniques, massaging each other. So there's some interesting stories there, but we're all helping each other, and it's all about teamwork. There was, excuse my language, but don't be
Thanks for that, Chris. Anyone else got anything else to mention? Or happy to leave it there?
Yeah,
I'll just say,
what Chris was going to say really. That is given, I think is, yeah, like you said, you know what you are, like the Friendish Running Club, blah blah blah. And it is our website, but now it's given the idea of actually we should be putting it as like maybe a heading on our Facebook page. So yeah, it's just giving me really good ideas. Thank you.
Oh, good. That's really good to hear. Well, if no one else got any other comments, as always, it's been lovely to see you all. And as Tom said, we've got some more coming up over the next month. But the next thing really for us is the club's conference. I know lots of you have already signed up, so that's great stuff. If you haven't, please do sign up before the 11th of March. I think that's the deadline. And it's anybody's welcome. You don't have to be a club official or a volunteer as such. Anybody in your clubs are welcome to join us for that. Okay, well, thank you once again for everybody joining us. Please feel free to leave.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Really good. Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
Tom. Bye.
Good to see everybody.